Hi guys, in this video I am going to show you how to build caster assembly in SolidWorks. So this particular assembly has 5 parts. We will first build individual parts and then I will show you how to assemble them, right? So our first part is mount plate. So let's work on that. So I click on file, new, part, OK, and I'm gonna select the top plane, extruded boss. Before that, make sure that your SolidWorks unit system is in IPS because we are going to work in inches. So here, make sure you have IPS setting going on. So once again, top plane, extruded boss, and I'm gonna draw a center rectangle on the origin. Then smart dimensions. Length of this rectangle is 3 inches. Width is 1.5 inches. Sketch is complete, it's fully dimension, so we can exit the sketch mode and add thickness 0.125, 0.125. Okay, now we can click on green right OK button here, and I'm going to save this part. File, save as. I have created a folder on the desktop, caster assembly. I would like to put all my parts and assembly in that folder. So caster assembly, and let's call it mount plate. Okay, next I want to cut a hole in this plate, so I'm gonna select the top surface of this plate, and on the features tab I'm gonna select extruded cut. Okay, then I'm gonna draw a circle in this corner here. Okay, diameter of the circle is 0.1 inch, 0.1. The center of the circle from the top edge of this plate is that distance is 0.25. Then the center of the circle again from the vertical edge is going to be 0.5, and that's complete. That completes our sketch. So exit the sketch and we can cut it through all. Okay, so that will give you that cut in this, you can see here in this plate. Now next we are going to create a pattern of these holes. So let's select on features tab, let's select linear pattern. Okay, this hole is already selected. If it was not selected, then you could first click in this box and click inside the hole to select that feature that you want to pattern. For direction 1, you can select this edge and you want 3 of them, so quantity 3, number of instances, they should be 1 inch apart, so 1 inch here. So that's in X direction. For second direction, you scroll down, let's see, direction 2, you select the vertical edge here and you want 2 of them, so type 2 here, and they should be 1 inch apart, 1 inch apart. Okay, and you can see here it's going in the opposite direction, so we need to, here we need to flip the direction, reverse direction, and that is good. So looks like our pattern is complete, so we need to click green right OK button, and that's good. Now next thing I want to do is this these 4 sharp corners, I want to add fillets to them. So I'm gonna click on fillet here, fillet radius is going to be 0.25. 0.25 is the fillet radius, and then I'm gonna go around and select each of those corners, okay, like that. Corner number 2, corner number 3, corner number 4, okay. So green right OK button, control 7 if you want to get it back in isometric orientation. And looks like we have completed our first part, a mount plate. So once again click on the save button here to save the part, and that was part number 1. Now part number 2 is bracket. So let me close this and let me show you the bracket. Okay, so here is the picture of the caster assembly. You can see here we just created the mount plate, and next we are going to create is this bracket. Okay, so let's get back to SolidWorks and work on the bracket. This may be one of the difficult parts in this assembly, yeah, but nothing too difficult. So let's click on File, New, Part, OK. Once again making sure that unit system is IPS. This time we are going to select the front plane and extruded boss. Okay, and now we are gonna draw. First I will draw 2 center point arcs. So let me draw them. First center point arc, I want to make sure that it is horizontally aligned with origin, and should be something like this approximately. Okay, then I'm gonna draw a second center point arc. That center is to the left of the center of the first arc, horizontally aligned once again, and will something will start here and something like this. Okay, now we want to make sure that I'm going to use a center line. What we want to make sure is this center of the arc is horizontally aligned with that center, so I'm connecting them with a construction line, right? Then that center is horizontally aligned with this end point of the arc, and that is horizontally aligned with origin, and that is horizontally aligned with this end point. So there are a bunch of construction lines I used to connect them, a bunch of horizontal construction lines to connect all these points with each other. Okay, so that's good. Next what I'm gonna do is draw a circle somewhere here. Okay, and let's now do some dimensioning. So smart dimension, radius of this arc here is 2.2 inches. Okay, a radius of this arc is 1.7 inches. Then let's do the diameter of the circle. That is half inch, 0.5. Okay, then the center of the circle from horizontal construction line is 1.75. Once again the center of the circle from let's see, from the origin, that distance, the horizontal distance between the center of the circle and the origin, that is 1.75 as well. 1.75. So far so good. Okay, now we want to define the how far these center of these arcs are from the origin. So this first center point from origin, that distance is 1.75, and the second center from origin is 3 inches. Okay, so that's all good. So far so good. I want to draw one more arc, so I'm gonna do center point arc. Center of that arc is same as the center of this circle, and I'm gonna draw a small arc like that. Okay, then we're gonna use trim entities, and on the trim entities panel we're gonna use trim to closest, and I'm going to cut some extra portions of these arcs. So I'm gonna cut these, 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 and these, and these. Okay, so only that those that's all one integrated. So I will close the trim command, and one thing I can do is I can make this arc tangent with that arc. The way to do it is you press and hold the control key and select the two arcs, arc number 1, not the midpoint accidentally. Okay, once again, press the control key, press and hold the control key, select the one arc and select the second arc. Now you can release the control key, and here on the left hand side under the properties you want to make these two arcs tangent with each other. So tangent. Okay, and then click OK. So looks like everything is good. Now you cannot have a opening here, so we want to close this with a solid line. So I'm gonna draw a solid line from this point to this point, and that will create a closed sketch. So at this time the sketch is complete. I'm gonna exit the sketch, and I'm going to add thickness to it. Let's see how thick it is. I believe it is 0.125 thick. 0.125 thick. And this is a good time to save this part. So file, save as, and let's call it bracket. Again, make sure you are saving all the parts in the same folder, caster assembly folder. Save. So that's good. Now we want to cut couple of holes on this top flat surface here. So I'm going to select, zoom onto it and select this top flat surface, then use extruded cut on the features tab, and if you want you can zoom on to that, and I'm gonna draw a circle here approximately, and another circle here approximately. Then we can use construction line, center line, and draw a center line from the midpoint of this edge to the center of this circle, and from the center of this circle to the center of the second circle. Okay, we gotta make sure that both construction lines are horizontal. This line doesn't look like a horizontal, so I'm gonna click on that line and I'm gonna choose option make horizontal. Okay, so now both lines are horizontal. Nicely done. So smart dimension, diameter of this hole is 0.1 inches, 0.1, and diameter of this hole is also 0.1. Now the length of this construction line is 0.25, and length of this construction line is 1 inch. Okay, so far so good. Sketch is complete, so I'm going to exit the sketch, and we can provide depth 0.1. Okay, so it's gonna be blind hole, and the depth is 0.1 inch. Control 7. So that's looking good. Green right OK button. And at this time our second part, which is bracket, is complete. So we'll go ahead and save one more time. Okay, we can close this. And now let's look at the third part that we will work on. So our third part is this wheel. uh, Looks complicated, but again nothing that difficult. So let's go ahead and open a new part file. So file, new part, OK, and then we select the front plane to draw the sketch on. And okay, so for the wheel we will choose a front plane, and we're gonna choose extruded boss feature. Then we get on the sketch mode, so select the circle command. Center of this circle is on the origin, and draw a circle. Diameter of the circle is 3 inches, 3 inch. Okay, sketch is complete, so you can exit the sketch. And we want to extrude it, but this time we want to extrude it using a mid plane option, because we need that symmetry. We need the front plane in the middle of this thing. So mid plane, and the thickness is 0.75. Okay, so that's good. We will go ahead and save this part at this time. File, save as, let's call it wheel. Okay, now we if you look at again, we look at the picture here. We have to cut some holes, so we'll work on the those things. So let's see. I'm gonna select this surface, and we have to cut a hole, so we need to use extruded cut feature. Then use the circle command. Draw a circle on the origin. Diameter of this circle is half an inch, 0.5. Okay, sketch is complete. Exit the sketch and cut it through all. Okay, so we got that. I will do Control 7 so you can see. Now we want to our plan would be to cut one of those slots, and then create a circular array using that slot. We can create four instances. So once again select this surface, extruded cut, and we will draw that slot. So I'm gonna use, let's see, we can use a center point arc, and you can use origin as your center, and you can draw an arc like that. And maybe you want to make that arc a construction arc. So on the left hand side here on this panel, check for construction box. So that's okay. Then I'm gonna draw a bunch of construction lines. So I'm gonna choose center line option. I'm gonna draw a vertical construction line first, a vertical construction line. Okay, then I'm gonna draw another construction line from origin to the end point of this arc, and then from origin to end point of this another end point. Okay, so far so good. Now we can define some dimensions. So smart dimension, angle between this construction line and vertical construction line, that angle is 22.5 degrees. Okay, and angle between the remaining two construction lines, that angle is going to be 45 degrees. Okay, so far so good. Next, I think we could have used center point arc slot, and maybe we can use that center point arc slot. So select that, click on the origin. Okay, first point we can do this, second point that, and then uh, you can complete your slot like that. One more dimension, smart dimension, radius of this is 0.25, 0.25, and one more dimension, I think the length of this construction line we can define length. Okay, so make sure it doesn't go vertical or horizontal, it goes straight parallel with that construction line. Okay, parallel, and that dimension is 1 inch, and that completes our sketch. We got all the dimensions and that's looking good, so we can exit the sketch at this time. And looks like this is a through all. Let me check. Yes, this is a through all, right? So let's go ahead and select through all and click OK. So once again, Control 7 for isometric view. This is looking good. Now we can create a circular pattern of this. So on the features tab, circular pattern is hiding under the linear pattern. You need to click on that small arrow here, and we have a circular pattern option. Select that. We in this box features to pattern here, we can either click on this. We can. It's good idea to select from this tree here. You can click on this arrow, and what we want to pattern is cut extrude 2 that we just created. Okay. For direction, you can define. You can use this edge of the circle. Okay. You want equal spacing between those slots, so check that box, equal spacing, and you want 4 of them, so you need to type 4 instances, and that will give you a nice pattern. So I think we're good with all the selection. We click OK, green right OK button, and there you go. So far so good. There is one more thing we need to do. If you look at this, there is a cutout on this side, and I am sure a similar cutout from the other side, so we need to work on that. So let's do that next. So what we can do is select the same surface again. We can use extruded cut, and I'm gonna draw a circle with a center on the origin, something like this. Okay, and let's see now that we got the circle, we need to define its diameter. Smart dimension, diameter of this circle is 2.7 inches, 2.7, and there is one more circle, a small circle on the origin, this circle, and diameter of this smaller circle is 0.75 inch, 0.75. Okay, so we got the two circles. Our sketch is complete. We can exit the sketch, and we can cut the depth of the cut. It's not through all, it's a blind cut, and the depth of the cut is 0.125, 0.125. Okay, green right OK button. Control 7 for isometric view, and that's the nice cut we made. Now what we are going to do, we can make a similar cut from the other side, but it is a good idea to just mirror it, and that's why we use mid plane option when we extruded this wheel. So to mirror something, on the features tab you can select mirror option. Okay, mirror plane is, you can open from this design tree and you are mirroring around the front plane. So select the front plane and then features to mirror. What are we mirroring? So you need to click in this box and then from the design tree again I'm gonna select cut extrude 3 is what we are mirroring. So I'm gonna select that and it's looking good already. You can do a full preview if you want to, like that, and looking good. So I'm gonna click green right OK button and you can say both sides we got nice cut. Control 7 again. So this is complete, the wheel is complete. So go ahead and save it one more time, close this part. Our next part is going to be this black tire. So we want to work on the tire. Okay, so file, new part. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to this time I'm gonna draw a sketch and then revolve it to create the tire. So for the plane I'm gonna draw the sketch on the front plane, and we're not gonna choose extruded boss, we are going to choose revolved boss because we want to revolve that sketch. So revolve boss, and I will start with I guess center point arc, center on the origin and something like that. Okay, then next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a construction line, center line from origin to the midpoint of this arc. Also we're gonna make sure that the line is vertical. If it is not, you have to make it vertical. Also let's draw a horizontal line passing through origin, horizontal line passing through origin. So the purpose of this line is when our sketch is complete, we can rotate or we can revolve that sketch around this horizontal construction line or horizontal axis. So that's why we did that. Then I'm gonna draw another horizontal line, this time a solid line somewhere here. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to draw a point on the midpoint of that horizontal line. So I select the point command and I'm gonna draw, you can zoom in if you want, I'm gonna click the point on the midpoint of this horizontal line like that and click OK and escape to get rid of the point command. Now why did I create a point there? Because then I can create a relationship between that point and this line, so that way the midpoint of this line is always on this vertical line. So I'm gonna press and hold my control key, select this point and select vertical construction line, and on the left hand side I'm going to make them two coincident. So that's good, right? Click green right OK button. Then I'm gonna draw a vertical line, another vertical line, and let's add some dimensions. So smart dimension, radius of this arc is 1.63. Okay, the length of the horizontal line is 0.75. And now I'm gonna use trim entities, trim to closest, and I'm gonna chop the extra pieces of lines. You can zoom, you can cut this piece, you can cut this piece. So that is what is left. And last dimension is the length of this vertical line is 0.13. Okay, so we got the sketch complete. This sketch is now complete, so we are going to exit the sketch, and for revolution we need to define the axis of revolution, and we already have that center line, so that's gonna be our axis of revolution. So that's good. Click green right OK button, and let's save this. Let's call this tire. Okay, so far I think we got how many parts? Let's see, let me go to desktop. We got 4 parts: bracket, mount plate, tire, wheel, and now we want to make our last part, that is going to be this small pin, axle pin. So that's very simple. You draw a circle and extrude it. So I'm gonna close this part and file, new part, OK, and let's do it on the front plane. So select the front plane, extruded boss, then we are in sketch mode. Select circle command, draw a circle on the origin, then smart dimension. The diameter of this circle is ½ inch, 0.5. Sketch is complete. Exit the sketch, and we can extrude it. We want to do mid plane again, mid plane option, and the thickness is 1 inch. Okay, green right OK button, and we can save it. We can call it axle pin. Axle pin. So there we have it. We have built all 5 individual parts, and now we have to assemble them. So to do that, let me close this file, and let me open a new assembly file. So file, new, assembly, OK. Now first thing we need to do is we need to if this folder doesn't automatically open for you, you need to browse here and go to that folder and select all the parts that you want to bring in for the assembly, all 5 parts, and open. So first is axle pin, whatever sequence you get, right? Then this bracket, you have to click for each part, then top plate, then tire, wheel, and that is that. Now what happens is, when you bring parts into assembly, the first part that you bring into assembly, that part remains fixed. So unfortunately our axle pin was the first part and it is fixed, it cannot go anywhere, right? Other parts are floating, they can move, but axle pin is not something that I want to fix it. I want to fix the mount plate, and then once that is fixed, we can assemble everything with respect to that mount plate, right? So let's make mount plate fixed and axle pin, change it to floating so that it can move. So you can see here axle pin, it says F here. So I'm going to right click on axle pin and float, and I'm going to right click on mount plate and change that to fix. Okay, so we got that. Another thing we want to do is we need 2 of these brackets. So we can press Control key and pull one out of the existing bracket, another second instance of the bracket, by control key, press and hold, and pull one out. Okay, so we got the two brackets. So now all the parts we need are here, and we want to do some assembly mates. So what I'm gonna do is put this bracket on this side. So the way I am gonna do it is make this hole concentric with that hole, this hole concentric with that hole, and this flat surface flush with the bottom surface of the mount plate. So let's go to the assembly tab, mate, and I'm going to select first mating condition, I'm gonna click inside of this hole here, and then click inside of this hole. Okay, and SolidWorks will automatically select concentric mate for us. That is the one we want. So we need to click green right OK button, add mate. After every single mate we have to click this add mate button to get ready for the next mate. So that is that. Then now these two holes are concentric. I'm gonna pull this down. Second mate I want to make is select this flat surface and select the bottom surface of this mount plate. Okay, and SolidWorks automatically selected coincident mate, which is what we want. So all we have to do is green right, add mate button. Okay, now what happen is this is flushed nicely. The one hole is concentric, but this can rotate like this. And to avoid that rotation, we want to make this second hole concentric with that hole. So I'm going to zoom on and select the whole surface, not the edge. Okay, select the whole surface, and then select this whole surface, and you can see SolidWorks automatically gave us concentric. We can just say add finish mate. So that's looking good. You can type Control 7 to get it back in isometric orientation. Now what we did with this bracket and that mount plate, we have to do same with this bracket and the mount plate. So zoom on to this bracket now, select the whole surface, not the edge again, surface, then select the inside surface of this hole, that's concentric. We can click add finish mate, pull it down. We can select this flat surface and the bottom flat surface of the mount plate. It's a coincident automatically. That's looking good. Add mate, and finally these two holes, other holes, we need to make them concentric. So select on the whole surface and select on that whole surface. Concentric mate is suggested by SolidWorks. Looking good. Green right OK, add finish mate. Okay, so that's now nicely snug together. Okay, next thing we can do is we can make this tire concentric with this wheel, and then the axle pin concentric with the wheel. So make these three parts concentric with each other. So I'm gonna select the inside surface of the tire and outside surface of this circular surface of the wheel, and concentric is suggested. I'm gonna add mate, and then I'm gonna select inside surface of the wheel, this small surface here, and external surface of the axle pin. Okay, and concentric again, add mate. Now one more thing, this tire, the flat surface of the tire need to be flushed with this flat surface of the wheel. So let's click on the flat surface of the tire and flat surface of the wheel, and SolidWorks is suggesting coincident mate, exactly what we want. So we need to click on add, and now we can make this axle pin concentric with that hole there. So let's do that. So I'm going to select circular surface of the pin and circular surface of the hole, and concentric mate is suggested. Green right OK button. So looking good. Maybe I do Control 7 one more time. So that's how it looks. Now we need to put the axle pin inside and then put a wheel on that. Right. So let's see, for axle pin we can use let's see, we can use a distance mate for axle pin. So I'm gonna zoom onto it to show you. Okay, and I'm gonna select this surface, this flat surface. Okay, and I'm gonna select the inside surface of the bracket, and SolidWorks is doing coincident. I don't want to select that. I'm gonna select the distance mate. Okay, here click on the distance mate, and the distance is 0.0625, so 0.0625 inches, and you see here it's leaving the gap of 0.0625. That's not what we want. We want it to go inside 0.0625 deep. So to do that, we can, here there's a box called flip dimension. We can click on that, flip dimension. Now this is right, it went inside 0.0625, and hopefully the same distance on this hole. So looks good. We use the SolidWorks initially suggested coincident mate. We changed that to distance mate 0.0625, and we flipped the dimension, and now we are ready to accept this mate, add. Okay, and the last one is basically putting this wheel on the axle pin. So to do that, we will use width mate. So that mate I can't see here. These are standard mates. So I believe the width mate option is under advanced mates. So let's click on advanced tab, and there we have width mate. So select width mate. Okay, and for width selection, we are going to width selection 1. We are going to select the inside surfaces of these two brackets, 1 and 2. Okay, that is for width selections 1. For width selections 2, we are going to select this flat surface of the wheel and other flat surface of the wheel, and that will put that wheel inside of that two brackets, nicely centered on the axle pin. So we can click green right OK button to accept that mate. Control 7 again. So everything is looking good. One problem I'm just gonna temporarily close out of mates by clicking green OK. So only one problem I can see is, as I'm rotating wheel here, you can first of all, your wheel should rotate freely. If you did everything correctly, your wheel should nicely rotate there. If it doesn't, that means you gotta go back and watch this again, make sure you didn't miss any of the mate conditions or accidentally did not add some additional mates that were not supposed to be there. Okay, sometimes I have noticed time and again students, what they do is they click here, they click there, they click green OK button accidentally, and they create a lots of mates. So under this mate, like you can see, these are the list of mates I made, but I have seen in the past students making unnecessary lot of mates. So if you have made those mistakes, you can right click on them, the mates that are accidentally there, and delete them, right? But for me, everything is good. One thing, last thing that I want to do is, you see here the wheel is rotating, but the tire is not rotating with it. Even though the flat surface of the tire is flushed with the flat surface of the wheel and they are concentric, but still they don't rotate together. So to do that, what we can do is, we can take a front plane of the wheel and front plane of the tire, and then make them parallel or coincident with each other. So by making them parallel or coincident with each other, when the front plane of wheel rotates, the front plane of tire will also rotate, and we will force tire to be rotated with along with the wheel like that. So once again, let's go back to mate, and we don't want that. That is delete. So nothing selected right now. It's all clean. I'm gonna click on this design tree. Okay, and there is a tire and there is a wheel, so I'm gonna open this by clicking on this arrow. I'm gonna open tire, and in the inside of the tire I'm gonna select the front plane of the tire. Okay, then next I'm gonna open this by clicking on this small arrow. I'm gonna open wheel, and then front plane of the wheel. No, I think that's a not front plane. I think, let's see, I guess our planes are wrong. So I'm gonna select, let me clean this box here, and let me select the top plane of the wheel and top plane of the tire. Yep. So the top plane of the wheel, you can see this, that blue square, and the top plane of the tire, both are now coincident. That means if one rotates, other will have to rotate, right? But before we close out, we have to accept this, add this mate, and now I think we got all the mates. We click OK, and our assembly is good. Both tire and wheel can rotate like this, okay, together. So for one last time, Control 7, and we will save this assembly. So file, save as, rebuild and save the document, and we can call it caster underscore assembly, whatever name you want to call it. Okay, so this completes this project. It was a long project, so it will take you some time, particularly if you are new to SolidWorks, but this will basically a good basic tutorial that you can practice. We build individual parts and then we assemble them together. So thank you. It's been a long video, so I will stop here.